greasy, grimy gopher guts, mutilated monkey meat, dirty, wordy birdie feet, French fried eyeballs floating in a quart of blood, and you without your spoon. Oh, what a shame.
What a delight. Thank you, Jeremy.
What the hell?
That was awesome.
I'm here all week.
All right, make sure I get
Try
you
the deal.
that
Tip your
pop
waitress.
that I owe you. So, a lot happened last time.
And go.
Let that land. However, whatever you thought you were going to have to deal with in the aftermath of what happened for each of you just moments before, something changes. The world stutters. Light fractures. Gravity lurches. For a moment, everything feels unmoored, like a reel of film slipping loose from its spool. A breath is held too long. A second passes twice. And then the universe exhales. Different. Dr. K stands alone in a bright, sterile laboratory, the cold glow of overhead lights buzzing faintly. His lab coat flutters as though caught in the wake of something that just left the room. Something fast, something invisible. Across the quantum iteration computer, cables twitch, monitors flicker, and the chronoton coils hum. Persephone stands motionless beneath the halogen lights of a tiled chamber, her face reflected in thick observation glass. Two lemurs, identical and still, perch on branches behind the pane, their violet eyes locked onto her. A rat clings to her shoulder, its tiny claws tense. Beside her, Dr. Templeton scribbles into a clipboard without looking up. On the floor, a thin hairline crack runs from Persephone's foot to the base of the observation room. A body lies sprawled across the concrete in a narrow corridor, the walls damp with condensation. The overhead lights flicker dimly. Above the body, Darla Stapler stands in full werewolf form, steam rising from her flanks. Her claws drip onto the floor, each drop of blood echoing in the silence. Her eyes burn gold as she turns her head slowly towards the camera, as if sensing something coming. Her breath fogs the air, steady and slow. A long hallway stretches out before a green painted door with a polished brass handle. The door hums faintly, as if vibrating just beneath the threshold of sound. A placard beside it reads, "The Jealous Mirror Containment Unit." Ashley Raven stands perfectly still, her hand hovering just inches from the handle. The walls around her tremble, the paint pulsing like skin under stress. A light above the door flickers, then stays lit. Two bodies lie on morgue tables, pale, under the sterile glare of overhead fluorescence. One is dressed in a lab coat, the other in a black blazer. Their torsos do not rise. Their limbs do not move. Their eyes are open, wide, and awake. Their pupils track the room, smooth and mechanical, watching. Inside those dead bodies, those dead gazes, something else stirs. Something wearing their faces like masks. The cold coils around their forms, but their lips twitch once, then again. Somewhere, deep below the surface of Paradise, Michigan, the power surges. The lights shudder, the walls creak, and the clock ticks forward. Or maybe backward. we're going to go to Ashley Raven. Standing outside, you find yourself where you were just moments before. You know the chaos that you came from.
Yeah.
It's almost as if you blink. You remember a loud humming noise. You remember a flash of light. You remember the sensation of the gravity shifting, of being momentarily floating free. And as if waking from a dream or perhaps a nightmare, you find yourself standing in front of this door, the door. Your hand is hovering inches away from it, close enough that you can feel the humming and thrumming that's coming from the other side. What do you do, Ashley?
Okay. So, I think Ashley in the last like day or two has been no stranger to kind of like bamfing out for a second and then bamfing back in, like having done something or kind of just not been in the driver's seat for a minute. So she assumes that this is just another instance like that, and whatever has been driving her in the past couple of instances, she assumes has brought her here, and she sees what room she's in front of. And I think her hand shakes.
As you have that thought that whatever it is has taken control, you hear the voice in your head.
Why are we here? Why did you bring us to this place?
I didn't.
I don't like this. I don't like that we're not in control.
And I think this is probably maybe the first time she's heard the other.
I'd say it's the first time you
Nervous.
remember an active conversation like this.
Mm-hmm. And she thinks to herself, well, if this other is nervous about this, then as scared as she is to proceed, it might be the right place to go. So I think she takes like a deep breath, and then she grabs the handle and like quickly opens the door and goes inside.
I'm gonna need you to make a brawn or a fight check.
Brawn or fight, huh? Well, shit.
As
All right.
this dark passenger of yours tries to prevent you from opening the door.
I got a 6. I am just no, I'm just gonna let it be a 6. And I would say to this entity, I would just say, what are you so afraid of in there?
I think as you reach out to open the door, you see momentarily this shadow hand sort of extend out of yours, grab hold of the door, sort of superimposed, and yank the door shut.
I'm not afraid. But what's in there? You know what's in there.
Do I?
You do. You know, Ashley
I
Raven
know
knows.
the jealous mirror is in there. Okay.
Ashley Raven knows what's in this room. You also know that the fact that it seems to be there's a lot of noise and stuff coming from it means something might be wrong.
Okay, fuck it.
You
Fuck
know
it.
that this is the room that's supposed to contain, by its very name, contain the jealous mirror.
Is this meet or beat? Like, if I got a 10, would I be able to open the door?
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 4 pops. And upon hearing that, like, the voice insists that it's not afraid, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Fuck that guy.
Just adjust these real quick. You grab hold of the handle more firmly and you press against that entity. And then there's this moment where you feel it, rather than continue to fight you, you feel as you open the door, this presence seems to recede a little bit. It cedes more control to you, as if it's stepping into the background just a little bit more. When you open the door, what you see is the full-length mirror, the ornate-looking mirror on its stand in the middle of a large room. But you also see that all of the walls, the ceiling, and the floor are mirrored as well. This room looks exactly like it did when we, the audience, saw it. When
Didn't Jessica find this room a minute ago?
it was when Anne.
Way back when? Oh, Anne.
It's how Anne and TJ were forced into the mirror.
Oh. Oh. Whew, and I think Ashley, for just a minute, like stands at the door, having entered the room and shut the door behind her. She's just like standing at the edge of this room.
Ashley Raven, there's something else for you specifically about this room. You, Ashley Raven, know the jealous mirror very intimately. You were born of the jealous mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You stepped into this world because of somebody else looking into the jealous mirror. That person, we the audience know to be Persephone, as has been told through a couple different versions, through Ashley telling Rosie, and I believe Persephone even telling you that when you ran into her when she was imprisoned in the labs.
Mm-hmm.
But as you stand here in this room now, Ashley, we catch a glimpse of what really happened. We see, at first, as you stand looking around this room, reflected in the floor, the ceiling, and the walls, the mirror itself covered in a crimson cloth. You turn to the mirror wall closest to you, and your reflection ripples as if looking in water. And we see Persephone looking back at you. But then the image shifts a little bit more, and we see behind Persephone, like long, spindly fingers reaching high into the sky. We see incredibly tall cedar trees.
Oh,
And Persephone's
giants.
face shifts in the ripples until we see a young Sophie looking at you. She's not as young as we've seen her before. When we saw her on South Manitou Island in 1855, and when we last saw her before she was kidnapped by Algernon in Chrome City, 2185, she was 12 years old. This Sophie looks to be almost 16.
Ooh.
And nope.
Go away, 4.
as we see you looking at this reflection, whoops. I think what we hear for a moment in this reflection, we hear the howling of a wolf. And the reflection of Sophie turns, and the camera quickly whips around, and we swing down into that dimly lit corridor with the dead body, and werewolf Darla Stapler, blood dripping from her claws.
Great transition.
Darla,
Love it.
what are you gonna do?
So, what do you call it? Like I'm standing over Persephone.
Nope, you're standing over a dead
Carries-
body.
I'm standing over a dead body.
Yeah, that's all that it was ever described as, is a dead body.
Oh, okay. But I don't see Ashley Raven anymore.
No, you are alone with this dead body in a random, dimly lit corridor somewhere beneath Paradise, somewhere within the Nexus Labs. You have that same sensation that whatever was happening to you just moments before, something has shifted and you are elsewhere.
So I think Darla is like taken aback. Like she was, going after Ashley. She definitely felt like, a force stopping her, which only pissed her off. And then all of a sudden, like, she's somewhere else. So I think she, like, kind of, I hate to, like, video game style this, but, like, she goes into a crouch, and is, like, on the hunt. She's trying to find her target. She's still pissed off. She's still aggravated. So she's going to try and see if she can locate a scent, locate a sound, something that's going to let her do what she wanted to do.
Okay, I think that's going to be a grit check,
Grit check.
which I believe is one of your heightened stats.
So
Grit, no. Grit actually goes down.
Wait, what is your heightened stats? Brawn, fight, and flight?
I mean, it might go up. I don't have Darla and Werewolf on the same page. But anyway, let me roll. Let me roll what it is. All right, so that's going to be a 7.
The scent is faint. Old.
Yeah, for Darla, the grit goes down in werewolf form too.
I was trying to think of what would be, because you're in a werewolf form, you should have a heightened sense of smell. So I'm trying to think of what stat would be better. I was thinking grit because it's almost like a wisdom and perception type thing.
Sure.
But
brains.
no, brains goes down for werewolf.
Brains is not good in werewolf mode.
Charm, brains, and grit go down. Fight, flight, and brawn go up.
I feel like brawn doesn't make any sense.
I was thinking flight.
Because flight might.
I'm thinking flight might make more sense just because it's tied to less to you running away from something than it is to you chasing something down.
Chasing, that makes sense.
So sometimes the dice know, what it's supposed to be. On a D8 or a D10, I rolled a 7, so 7 it is.
Okay, it's an old scent, but it's not that old. So it's going to take you a little longer. I think we see combination of shots of werewolf Darla just suddenly coming around a corner, slamming into a wall, running on all fours, loping through these halls. Then we see like a look down a hallway, and then just as it crosses the intersection, and then intercut with those, we see point of view shots of the corridors, looking very much like 1980s Doom, as we're looking in these 3-dimensional corridors and going.
Nice.
And you can almost see that that sense of almost animated, like the faint trail of the scent. I'm also thinking
So-
a more modern take is very much like in season 2 of Arcane, when the beast, when you're seeing the POV of the beast in Bloodlust.
So, since it's a scenario of like an older scent, an older trail, and I imagine there's probably a little bit of like, wrong turns and backtracking as she's, trying to ascertain. I mean, trying to find a scent, um, over top of, I imagine we've all walked this place numerous times, coming here and going there. So finding the stronger scent at intersections, sometimes can be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a D100.
D100.
Someone's burning a Yankee candle somewhere, and
oh,
that's really fucking stuff
oh
up.
my. This is either really, really good or really, really bad. I rolled 100.
Okay.
Double tens.
There is a in this current state, there is a 20% chance that the Nexus Lab security force is being activated for Operation Silver Bullet.
Oh my god, is
If
that
I-
what it's called?
If I roll between a
90 to a
90
10.
to a 10, Operation Silver Bullet is activated.
Oh,
Oh.
my
Either way.
God, that
28.
was physically impossible.
So
What just happened there?
they haven't caught wind of you yet.
Yes.
Go ahead and make another flight check.
Oh my god, yes, dude, yes. The Nexus security system will not be
All right,
denied.
that's only going to be a 2 this time.
Okay. You come around a corner, and at some point, as is going to happen in an active laboratory, you round a corner, and there are 2 lab techs that are standing there conferring with one another, and their eyes go wide as they see you. They don't have time to run from you. What do you do?
Decisions. I'm gonna roll a Bonobo die. All right. So I'm just gonna barrel through them. Make it be aggressive, but in a way that perhaps they'll just be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna let that go. And
Roll a D100. There's now a 40% chance.
all right, we are at 82.
I rolled a D20. We're all looking at
gonna
this
say,
like, what's it going to land
does
on? That has
what does
nothing to
that
do with
mean?
anything. Would you get an 82, you said?
82.
82.
So 62 to 100, no, to 2.
You're about to roll a 78. Nope.
36. Neither of them had a radio on them. As you continue barreling down the halls. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll roll a D4 here. We are going to cut to Persephone. And since Tamiko is not here, as Persephone is standing there, frozen, Algernon the rat on her shoulder, Dr. Templeton scribbling away. Dr. Templeton does not seem to have noticed that he's not where he was before. He was already under the influence of the quantum destabilizations. He was sort of looping himself. Somebody roll me... Well, no, I'll do it. I'll do it since I'm doing it for... Rolling a D12. Oh no.
Oh.
I will only tell you what this Persephone psychic flare up result is called. It's called Shadow of the Mirror.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is how she ends up in the frickin' back to tank, isn't it? She's about to get violent or something.
So
Oh.
okay, I just had to double check, reread it. I will tell you basically what's going to happen, leaving certain pieces out. Somebody roll a d4.
I will. 2.
Okay. I won't tell you what that means, but it does have to do with rough. It's going to limit how long this happens. Persephone will be acting recklessly. Is going to take psychic harm at the end of this. But Persephone has a dramatic change in this moment. The first thing we see Persephone do, she's holding this clipboard and this pen, or this pencil. Pencil seems logical, it's 1975. The pencil snaps in her hand, and we see her fingers break through the clipboard. This causes Dr. Templeton to look up. She looks over at Dr. Templeton, and we see her eyes flicker down to his badge that says Dr. Templeton. And Persephone, her voice notably deeper. Now, this isn't just because I'm voicing her. It literally says Persephone's voice deepens and her demeanor shifts. As Persephone suddenly turns, she looks, and it can be assumed that every time we see Persephone in this moment, she's doing the Kubrick stare. She's got that very head down, looking through the brows kind of look. As she looks at Dr. Templeton, she looks at the rat. She doesn't even look at Algernon on her shoulder. She just grabs the rat off her shoulder. And she goes,
"This isn't right. You're supposed to be in the lab coat, and you're supposed to be a rat."
And we see her hold Algernon up. And we see her staring intently at Algernon. And we see the rat squirming in her grip. She's not squeezing it. It's just squirming, trying to fight and get away. It's biting at her hand. She's bleeding as it's scratching and biting at her hand.
Oh my god.
And then suddenly it stops fighting. And its whiskers just twitch. And Dr. Templeton grabs his hands to the side of his head and starts screaming as Persephone looks at the rat and says, "You have your part to play." And sets it down on a table. And as Dr. Templeton screams in agony, Persephone walks out of the room, stops and turns and looks at him and says,
"Quit your moaning. You'll get over it. You'll get used to it."
And walks out of the room. We see her walking down the hallway, dragging her fingers along a wall. And in that same sort of deep voice, we see the camera sort of doing that twisty, tilty thing as she's walking through the halls going, "Ashley.
Oh, fuck. No.
Ashley Raven."
Nope. Hiding. Danger.
This time I'm going to roll a d6.
God damn.
1, 2, 3, 4. This time, by necessity, I think it's going to be, we're going to start off looking at Miss Adams. And since you and Dr. Sharp are in the same place, perhaps I should say Jessica. You open your eyes. As your eyes look around the room, you see that you are in a cold, sterile room with lots of stainless steel and what looks like doctor's office equipment. The last thing you remember, Jessica, you were time skipping through a portal. You'd been in Chrome City, and then you got caught in the portal. You look over to your side, and you see Dr. Devin Sharp dead on a table next to you. What do you do, Jessica?
I think Jessica starts and proceeds, reacts with a start, and I think which probably results in her just toppling over the table or off the table with this thud.
I see this like in a movie. You freak out, you fall off the table, and then the camera holds, and then we just see a hand, and then we see Miss Adams' wide-eyed head just kind of.
Oh God.
Yeah, she just peers over, and she is looking around to see if there's anyone else there. She I think at this moment, she then takes in the fact that she is in this room, which I imagine probably looks, I would imagine the walls probably are recognizable to her after spending all of that time.
Institutionalized,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you definitely recognize the decor matches your previous stay in these labs.
Yeah, so Jessica, do you just, oh, no, as she is you can see tears start welling up in her eyes as she's looking around. I so cannot be back here.
I think that's the time where, Laz, you wake up in the same situation, and your waking happens sort of in those moments right as Miss Adams is scrabbling around in a panic, realizing where she is, saying, I can't be here. What you see as you look around is you see, well, you would have known her last as Miss Adams, the school secretary at Paradise Academy. It should be noted that when you look at her in her pencil skirt and white blouse and black blazer, there is a tremendous amount of blood that has soaked her white blazer. And your head seems to hurt a lot.
So yeah, I think he kind of reaches a hand up to where his head is aching.
And you stick your finger in a hole.
Well, that can't be good. He kind of sits up and looks at this woman and says, "Aren't you from the school office?"
Oh, as soon as Jess hears that, she is looking for the closest instrument.
So, the only thing available to you, other than just basic office equipment, is the fireplace poker that is on a
Fucking
countertop
yes, dude.
next nearby that had been pulled from Dr. Sharp's head.
Yeah,
Got,
she
like,
takes
hair
that
on it.
and she like puts it up to who she thinks is Sharp. Don't come any closer. I
Oh,
have a
no.
weapon, she says as she
Chill out,
Whips it
lady.
around twice.
Chill out, lady. There's no reason to get aggressive.
she gives you like the weirdest look. This is so not like you won't. You can't do what you did last time. You won't be able to do that to me again. She like is like
time.
shaking.
I barely ever interacted with you. Look, I just woke up here. I have no idea what's going on. But you're covered in blood, and I seem to have a large hole in my head.
You see she looks horrified, but also really angry. She's like, what do you mean you don't know who I am? You tortured me. Because he was like, him and, tortured her. So she is like, just like incredulously, like, what do you mean?
Also, even if that wasn't true, how do you not know who I am? Sorry.
I'm a track star.
Excuse me. I'm the homecoming queen, bitch.
This is probably also the first time you realize, Jessica, that you're completely covered in blood.
Yeah. What did you
I
do to me?
I may have stolen some mints from your desk, but I wouldn't really call that torture.
What are you talking about? Did that hole in your head do more damage than... She, like, pauses. Than killing you, she says after. She can't think of anything else to say.
He kind of like looks down and realizes that he's wearing a suit.
And a
What the
lab
fuck
coat.
is going on?
And you have an ID around your neck. In fact, you both do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he'll grab it and look at it.
Dr. Devin Sharp, Nexus Laboratories Chief Science Officer. Carlene Adams,
Oh,
Nexus Laboratories Office Administration.
this place sucks.
So would Dr. Adams acknowledge the blood and say ooh at this moment?
Oh, she's not a doctor. She's a miss.
Listen.
Sorry, Miss Adams.
She's an administrative assistant.
Yes.
Well, she is administration. She's not an assistant in the labs. But, yeah, she's not a doctor.
Operations.
She's
But
a miss.
it still
don't-
would be very humorous to see that moment.
Oh god.
Jessica, I don't think she's like really registering. Like, I think she sees the blood. She vaguely sees the name tag, but I mean, the guy who tortured her for a very long time is standing right in front of her, so she is like eyes like laser focused on him and like wanting to know what is happening.
I think Laz is like keeping his hands up, but as long as like she's like staying some distance away, like he's good. He's gonna like hop down kind of slowly. He wants to find some kind of mirror, some kind of reflective surface.
You are in a room full of polished stainless steel surfaces.
Perfect.
And
wants to find,
it's
like,
a little
tray or
it's a little bit
something.
distorted. Yeah, there's like
Right.
a tray that would have instruments on it. That
Perfect.
you pick it up, and I would even go so far as to say is if you hold it up to look at it, you can see your reflection, blood all across your face, the hole in your head where this fireplace poker had gone through. And standing opposite you, Jessica, you see your reflection on the other side of
That's awesome.
this.
That's awesome.
So I like this idea that we're seeing what Laz is seeing, and then the camera just does a 180 and goes, and we now see what Jessica is seeing, and seeing the bloody Miss Adams looking back at her through this reflection. You guys both realize the reflections you're seeing.
I imagine there's like this collective like like gasp from both.
Yeah, Laz just kind of like lowers the tray. Who are you exactly?
Who are you? You 1st,
I'm-
she says.
Poking the poker.
Yeah.
Laz.
Laz?
Eccles.
It's Jessica, she says almost immediately.
Oh my god.
Oh, thank God.
She drops
Like,
the
drops the
poker.
tray.
Clang, clang. So- As
Awesome.
as the two of them realize this and they drop their implements respectively, we get one quick shot of somewhere in a hallway of werewolf Darla Stapler running and chasing, and then suddenly stopping head up as you hear this clanging sound.
Oh my god, that's awesome. No.
Do you turn and go towards the sound? Or do you pursue the scent?
I'm pursuing the scent.
Okay. So there's just that moment of, and then continues along.
The audience holds their breath. That's
And
great.
in this moment, we will, as you come around a corner, you slam into a green door and continue on your way. And it's that slamming into the door, we suddenly see the other side of the door as the door to the quantum computing iteration lab. Something slams on the other side of it, Dr. K, kind of snapping you out of it as you're looking around, realizing you're not where you were.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Hell. Okay. Well, and he kind of looks down at his hands, and no Persephone. He was literally carrying Persephone under her shoulders, like in his head 10 seconds ago.
Mm.
And so he is like looking around the room, and then he hears the thud against the door. What in the hell happened? Okay, I gotta... Okay. Find Persephone. Find Ashley. Try not to get run down by Darla. And then, I don't know, figure out what all that was with the portals. Okay. He kind of gets a list of things in his head, and then immediately he's going to see about if there's a way that he can kind of pinpoint locations in the Nexus labs. If there's a way he can kind of like figure out where Ashley might be, where Darla might be in relation, things like that. Like, he is aware that Devon's dead. He's aware that Carla's dead. He is aware of all of these things. But he doesn't know anything as far as locations wise. So that's the first thing he's going to try to do, is get an awareness of the space he's in, and then move forward to the next step.
Give me a brains check.
Okay. In the box, that's a 13 plus 1, so 14.
DC was 12.
Okay.
So your attention is drawn immediately to the quantum iteration computer that you were developing. And at first, everything seems to be working just like it's supposed to. The chronoton coils are humming along. The quantum field generators are at full capacity. you're showing the iteration interfaces are ticking off various symbols, almost like the Matrix code in a way. Everything is working exactly the way it's supposed to, except it's not supposed to be working. I mean, it is supposed to be working, but it's not supposed to be doing what it's doing right now, because it would only do what it's doing right now if it were active, if it were actively trying to engage or monitor or activate iterations. You had just been in the tail end of the testing phase earlier today. And what you see right now, not only do you see that it's actively running, it seems to be attempting to run multiple iterations simultaneously, and they're creating a dangerous, I guess the best way to describe it is like a Venn diagram, but it's not depicting the crossing of information. And I think this is appropriate for Dr. K, who is an older version of young Oak. The vision that comes to mind immediately is the line from the Ghostbusters, whatever you do, don't cross the streams.
Yeah.
Roll me a d20.
Okay. Okay. I'm hoping that's good. I don't know. That's a 9. I don't know what it's for, but
Roll something else.
oh, okay. Okay.
That's
not
roll
good.
again.
That's
No, we
not-
had
that's-
that.
That's scary.
No,
That's
we had
scary.
that last week.
Okay, I don't like this. As someone who is superstitious, I don't like this. 13. That's terrifying. Yeah. No, thank
13's
you.
a great number.
13 is dangerous.
Okay. Yeah, it is
Pretty
dangerous.
awesome.
So I'm going to give
It
you
is dangerous.
I'm going to give you some pieces of information that, first of all, with your successful brain check, that you quickly recognize. You've been working on this computer for a number of years, and there's a bit of intention to it, working with the resources of the Nexus project. But though this is anachronistic to even this timeline, to you, a virtual Time Lord, I guess time and anachronisms are really relative. You're a bit of a Galen Urso, in the sense that you're probably building fail safes and weaknesses into the system, so you know this system intimately. And one of the things that you know, looking at this system, it's allowing you to see exactly what you were hoping you could see. As part of the base function of the iteration generations, in order for them to function properly, you have to know where the anomalies are. So, you are learning the information you want, but also more than you were expecting to see. First, the two anomalies that you have identified first and foremost above the ones you were looking for, that seem impossible, improbable, and yet there they are. Laz and Jessica. Here, in the morgue, in 1975. Then, you see a dot that represents Darla Stapler, but it's in such a way to indicate that Darla Stapler is in full wolf form and is moving rapidly through the halls, is moving away from your current location. You track its movements, and it seems to be erratic, but moving ever closer to where you've identified the dot that represents Ashley Raven. Ashley Raven is inside the Jealous Mirror containment unit. A place that Ashley Raven has told you and everybody else at the Nexus Project that in no uncertain terms and under no circumstances is anybody supposed to go.
Verboten.
You see, down in Zoological, you see Persephone moving at a normal pace through the halls from Zoological also seems to be making her way towards the Jealous Mirror containment unit. Persephone's anomaly indicator is flickering. It flickers to an unknown. It flickers out. And then it flickers as Coop. Your eyes begin darting across the scenes, and you quickly dart over to Darla Stapler, erratically running through the halls, and you realize as it makes these rapid movements and shifts around a corner, you see the superimposed secondary indicator, Billy Stapler.
Oh.
And then, almost as if your eyes don't want to go there, you go back to the Jealous Mirror containment unit. There you see Ashley Raven. And superimposed in the same space, you see Rosie. Your friends are here, now, in 1975. Now, this next piece of information is the D20 roll I had you roll. You rolled a 13, which is glass time. Time fractures like glass. What this means for you right now is time is extremely fragile right now. And nothing threatens an unstable time like paradoxes. And you are watching as multiple paradoxes are preparing to converge upon one another. Dr. K, what do you do?
This is the scenario that Oak, that Orison, like every version of him, I imagine it's very Doctor Strange. Very, when you said glass time, I imagine that in this moment there's this imagery of him kind of almost Minority Report, moving the things around on the screen. And then as he gets there, the edge of the screens begin to like crack and shatter as far as like an imagery space. And then it shatters into a bunch of different shards. But each shard is aligned with almost like a stained glass look to it, in a like green stained glass with brass edgings on each piece. And then we see as like,
shit, we'll never know. Oh.
Holy crap,
oh no,
Dr. K's
the
timeline
entire
froze.
Quantum Lab has, oh no, are we good?
What we
Go-
heard
go
was,
back.
we see as, and then you froze.
Okay.
Your timeline shattered.
Sorry, I don't know what happened, but here we
Okay.
go. We see as Orson is standing there, and all of the different timelines, all of the different iterations that have happened, that will happen, that could happen, depending on scenarios that occur, shatter out into the room. It basically engulfs the space of the quantum lab. And for a brief moment, he sees every iteration infinitesimally for 13 seconds. In that 13 seconds, he can see every single fracture. And so his eyes are gazing over the important stuff. And then there's this moment where he goes, what the hell am I doing? If time's fracturing this bad, I gotta get... So he knows he has to get to where they're gonna converge. So his goal is to find his way to the jealous mirror room. And I think there's this moment very Doctor Whovian, where he like goes to the door of the quantum lab. You watch as he pulls his wrist back, and that secondary watch, he like clocks in specific amount of time backwards, then taps the doorknob like bed knobs and broomsticks 3 times, and then right turn to the left. And then all of a sudden, Ashley, on your end, you watch as the mirror wall on the opposite end of where you're looking at this Persephone image on the other end.
Okay.
You hear the sound of a doorway that's not coming from the door you entered.
There are 2 doors to the containment unit room. That was established.
Oh my god,
before.
this is the other door.
The secondary door to the containment unit opens up on the other end.
Wow.
Ashley, we got.
And Ashley is like engrossed with what she's looking at in this one wall, and she turns around and she's like, Dr. Kubrick, I told you never to come in here.
Yeah, well, guess what? If I didn't come in here, everything falls apart. So I need you to come with me, and I need you to come with me now.
You hear,
She's not going anywhere with you.
and you see the smoke and shadow sort of billow off of
no.
Ashley and rises up behind her, almost like a genie. You don't see any legs, but you see Ashley's. You're fine, but you have this shadow entity, this symbiote, rising up behind you, larger, and it looks, even though it's taking on this vague humanoid shape, it looks like the smoke is both a roiling storm cloud and smoke drips like liquid off of it.
You don't belong in the cradle of our birth.
That was... Okay, I got a whole lot of questions to unpack on that one.
Do I hear him say that? Am I just like standing in the middle, like, yeah, you don't belong in the cradle of Earth? You're like, Dad, what am I saying here? What am I?
You are you in full control of
Okay.
yourself. Your
Okay.
your dark passenger is basically hanging out the window, if you will.
Hey. Hey. Okay. I think Ashley just sort of like shakes her head and is kind of trying to process all this. It's like, everything falling apart. What do you mean?
Well, if my lab was any indication, everything is happening at once. All the iterations are fracturing together.
Would I know what he means by the iterations?
Yeah, you're Director Ashley Raven.
Okay,
you know
okay,
about the
okay.
Iterations Project.
Okay.
How do you
That's
think
not
he ended
possible.
up here? How do you think he ended up here?
I walked through that door.
Yeah, I know, but where were you 10 seconds beforehand?
I don't know.
We were in a hallway. I was carrying Persephone.
On one
covered in
wall,
blood.
on one wall of this mirrored room, we see Ashley Raven walking out of her private bathroom with Miss Adams' arm just hanging out into a bloody pool as you walk out with this bloodied whiskey glass and just set it on a table. On the other wall, we see 15-year-old Darla Stapler screaming her head off as a young 16-year-old Ashley Raven grins maniacally as another 16-year-old or 15, I don't remember how old the other girl was, is being ripped apart by barbed wire, drawn and quartered. And seeing it in the third person, Ashley Raven, you see over your shoulder the shadow figure.
Orson, I have to get this out.
Yeah, I understand. But if you do not come with me right now, there's no way to fix what you have. Do you understand? Every iteration will fold in on itself, and the paradox may explode things. So I need you to come with me right now, and we will fix it when we can.
Okay, and like for just a second, you see like Ashley Raven vulnerable.
I imagine there's this segment where he's talking to Ashley Raven. Older Orison is talking to Ashley Raven. But there's this moment when you're talking back to him that we see the images overlap of each other.
You see like a glitch.
Yeah, and Ashley Raven becomes Rosie. Orison becomes young Oak. So there's like a 12-year-old Oak holding his hand out to young Rosie and like begging her to get out of this space.
I think that's what we see reflected on one wall of the jealous mirror.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's great. So Ashley is totally willing to go with you.
Dr. K.
Oh, fuck.
Shit.
Oh,
Shit.
fuck.
Come on.
You see the reflection of Sophie that Ashley was staring at, turns and looks at both of you and says, all of this has happened before. It will all happen again. And then you hear Ashley Raven, and it's not coming from Sophie.
Is she in the fucking room with us?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. I'm sure.
We need to fucking go.
Yep.
Dr.
So,
K,
very,
you see
very
from behind
Dr.
Ashley
No.
as Persephone steps into the room and reaches a hand out very calmly and reaches up and grabs the hand of the shadow figure.
Ooh.
Ashley,
Yeah.
I need you to make a grit check.
All right. Oh my god. All right. I got an 8. Fuck. I'm not using any more pops ever again, so.
Dr.
8.
K, you see as you're reaching out and glancing over, you see Oak reaching out to Rosie. And we'll get to the reflections in a moment. Those are still intact. But in the room, as Persephone grabs hold of the shadow figure's hand, Ashley, you feel yourself being forced to maintain and reinforce your connection with the shadow figure. And we see reflected on the wall that held the teenaged Sophie. We see the ripple of water. And we see the reflection sort of shift. And it's almost like we, the viewer, push through. And the whole scene flips from like this to 90 degrees. We are back on South Manitou Island in the Valley of the Giants at the natural spring that was marked on the map as the Jealous Mirror.
Oh, fuck.
And we see where teenage Sophie is on her knees looking into the water. And she reaches out a hand. And we watch as her reflection reaches up. And she pulls. And she pulls Ashley Raven out of the water. Teenaged Ashley Raven. This is the moment of Ashley Raven's creation. This is the original reflection. And Ashley Raven, as you are almost completely pulled up out of the water, something grabs you from behind. And we see Shadow and Liquid reaching up and grabbing hold. And we hear this voice, "Not without me!"
Oh my fucking god.
And as you, in the moment of you're taking your first breath in the real world, and hearing this voice and glancing back, teenage Sophie looks over your shoulder and says, "It's okay. You can come too." And the whole image flips back 90 degrees. We shoot across the room to the reflection of Coop damn it, Oak.
Yes. Yes.
Mark your bingo
happened.
squares, you filthy animals.
Yes. Yes.
Of Oak and Rosie. And in this moment, you can have this scene as Oak and Rosie. Or for a moment, I should say, not in a moment.
Okay, as Rosie, did I like feel this, like this born and unborn and
No.
all this? No,
You're seeing it all. You guys are seeing
Okay.
everything that happens on the reflections of the mirror. But for the moment, you are reflections, and you are realizing for the first time, Oak, that you are coexisting with Dr. K, and Rosie, that you are coexisting with Ashley.
Oh, what's going on, man?
I'm trying to piece it all together as quickly as possible. I want to protect you. I want to protect you. I want to protect all of them as quickly as possible. Everybody's here. Billy, Laz, you, everybody. But I need you to come with me. I can't do this alone, and you're the first person that I thought of. I need you.
Oh. Does Rosie have her bat with
Of course.
her?
I believe I once
course.
said to you
You always have
that
your bat?
Rosie always has her bat.
Okay, super duper. That needs to be a T-shirt. Okay, so
Rosie
I
always
would.
has her back.
Rosie always has her bat. So Rosie kind of like puts her bat over her shoulder and be like, "I'm with you."
Okay. And he reaches that hand out, and I imagine that there's this moment where the image of the two kids,
Mm-hmm.
he grasps onto Rosie's hand, and
Mm-hmm.
for a brief second, there's like that flash of like regenerative energy level that like the Time
Oh my
Lord
God.
would come and have, and then we see as I'm going to try and pull you
Mm-hmm.
adjacently away from Persephone that's in the room.
Yeah.
You watch as Oak now tries to pull you back through this other door, and it's very timey-wimey swap as we try to go into the next space, as I'm pulling her away and out of the mirror room, and I'm trying to figure out who's the next person that I go for. I imagine that next person that I would go to would be Laz, or would be Jessica.
Okay, one thing at a
because
time.
They're in the same space.
One thing at a time. You've got to succeed at pulling Rosie through.
I'm willing. Does that give him like a +1?
He's not fighting against you.
Oh.
I want you both to roll, and here's what we're going to do. You're each going to roll a d20.
Okay.
I'm going to roll a d20 for the Shadow and a d20 for Persephone.
Ooh, okay. Not bad. Not bad, not bad.
Well, good, because I was bad.
Rosie got a 3.
Oh, okay.
What did Oak get? A 15.
15.
So, the Shadow
No, I'm not doing it again, ever.
gets an 8.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So this is a true
Hold on.
frickin'...
Persephone.
There's part of me that wanted to use pops, but I'm not.
Oh, Persephone almost exploded.
Woo!
So, a couple things are going to happen here.
Okay. Cool.
It'll be
Give me a
fine.
second, because I said in the side chat, I'm
Hey.
moving so many pieces
While
around.
Jake,
Okay.
while
Of
Jake
course,
takes
dude.
a second, chill with us on this very calm and time-consuming ad for Redbubble.com. At Redbubble.com, we've got all kinds of great t-shirts, like the one I'm wearing. the one Jeremy is wearing. And you can get our logos on t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, mugs, postcards, pillows, posters, notebooks, decor of most kinds. And if you want this logo, that's amazing. We also have cool logos for your fantasy games, like 7 Dooms per Sandpoint. So be sure to check us out on redbubble.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain. They've almost always got deals.
So, thank you.
You're welcome.
The 8 of the Shadow and the 3 of Rosie combine to make 11, which beats Persephone's 10. Because the Shadow's trying to break away from Persephone as well.
Persephone.
So, we see in this moment as the Shadow and Ashley in the room and Dr. K is able to pull Ashley away from Persephone. And the Shadow sort of snaps almost like a rubber band and sort of snaps back into Ashley with that sort of just this like, and suddenly the Shadow's there with you. At the same time that in the reflection, Oak is able to pull Rosie along. But it's not as simple as you just pulled away from Persephone. Because in that moment, what distracts Persephone is you will hear a familiar voice, Oak and Coop. As you hear in one of the other reflections, or what did I just say Coop again?
You said Oak and Coop. Do you mean Oak and Rosie?
I meant Oak and Rosie, and here's why I screwed it up this time.
Familiar voice.
The familiar voice you hear reflected in the other wall is Coop. As Coop goes, "Oh, beans. I don't even know what's happening. Wait. Let go of my friends." And you see as Coop tries to reach through the reflection for Persephone. And you see Persephone turn and look at Coop. And the look on her face is one of pure anger and hatred. As she says, "You! This is all because of you and your friends! I just wanted to find my dad!" And she reaches out and she grabs hold of Coop. And in that moment, the camera does another flip-flop. And we suddenly are in that upstairs room, sunroom, of Stapler, of the Stapler house.
Oh no.
When the iteration was falling apart and you were all standing there and Persephone had hold of Coop. And in that moment, Persephone looks around and says, "I'm gonna rip your skeleton right out of your little body." And we realize in this moment and in that moment, there was a folding of time, if you will, that the Persephone that is saying this to the reflection of Coop in this moment is the same Persephone that was threatening Coop in the iteration.
Oh my god.
And she would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the fireplace poker that comes crashing down on her head from Laz. And that's when the first crack in the glass time happens. Because a paradox has just strained against the edge of time, and we see cracks forming in that wall of the jealous mirror. And in that moment, Jessica, you feel a sudden sharp pain in the center of your chest. Something's wrong. And you don't know what, and you don't know why. But we're back right now with Laz and Jessica.
Yeah, I think as soon as like she drops the fire poker, you see her like clutch at her chest and kind of almost double over.
Hey, are you all right? You okay?
I don't know. Something's wrong. And
Oh,
she
you are
like pauses
covered in
and she
blood.
says, does she feel like any kind of like pull or anything like that with this pain, or just the pain?
Make me a grit check. You're going to learn something. How much you learn depends on how high you roll.
Ooh.
All right. Grit. Yes. Reading is hard. Oh boy. One.
One. Like I said, this isn't a pass or fail. So you're not going to get... Here's what you're going to get. The feeling that you're feeling at the center of your chest reminds you of that same feeling of heartbreak that you felt when you heard your parents arguing. And that same heartbreak that carried you to sit sadly alone at the top of the stairs. But it was also in that same moment of vulnerability and heartache that you looked at the mirror on the landing and you saw your reflection look back at you, wave, smile, and say, "Hi." This reminds you exactly of the first time you ever saw Anne.
Okay, yeah, as soon as those memories come like crashing back to her, she kind of forces herself to stand up in front of like Laz, and it's I don't know what it is. This is all so fucked up.
Say that again.
I know where we are.
You do?
She nods. We're at the lab.
But how? Like, you're... And I don't... I need Oak.
There has to be someone else here. We should find
Okay.
someone. See what's going on. And she like looks up at your head that has the hole in it.
What?
Can there be a hat, please, that doesn't quite cover it? It does not do a good job of covering it, but she
Amazing.
just like kind of
I'm going to
puts
say,
it-
yeah. I mean, this is a morgue. There's probably a cabinet that has some... probably still has some of the clothes of some of the people that have passed through here for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gotta be for, like, the Cherry Festival or something.
Oh my god. Cherry Festival 1970. It's like a trucker cap.
He's got, like, red, like, blood, like, leaking out of the bottom of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. It's absolutely a trucker hat. And it's got
Should
those...
also be
And
in
it's
the merch
in,
store.
like, iron-on puffy letters and...
Absolutely.
That'll work.
Sure. Yeah, okay. He kind of puts it on. He takes his like jacket off, like his suit jacket. I'm not doing this.
Amazing.
It's a little bloody. Anyway. She looks.
Okay.
Um
So if we're in the labs, then it stands to reason that there's going to be more of these assholes running around.
do you think the others are in their bodies too?
Fuck, that's going to be confusing.
She like looks. Well, we can't get it wrong. We should come up with a code word. Next time we inhabit other people's bodies, we should have like a secret code word.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a sort of kind of sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Code word.
Oh, what was the thing that they buried in the sand?
Big
It
red
was
gum.
it was juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit.
Well, it was juicy,
Juicy
fruit
fruit.
originally. Then it was
Juicy
big
fruit.
red when Claire buried it or gave you the gum to bury.
I think juicy fruit.
Yeah.
Like juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit. That makes perfect sense. I'm good with that.
All right.
Hold on a second. Is there like scalpels, things like that, kind of lying around?
Oh, there's anything you can imagine that would be in a morgue, and specifically in a place where they would do autopsies and such. Yeah, there's bone saws and skull drills and scalpels, chest separators,
Skull drills, huh?
whatever.
Skull drill.
Listen,
That sounds like a band.
skull drill.
Skull drill.
So I think he's definitely gonna take a scalpel with him. Can he still feel the plasma that he absorbed? I'm guessing probably not, since he's not in the same body.
When did you absorb plasma?
It was the crystals inside the cave.
That's right. Yes.
Man,
Oh.
okay. Interesting. All right. He kind of like holds up the hand that he doesn't have the scalpel in, and for a moment, like you can see like through his fingers, as if like they were illuminated like from the inside.
Oh, badass.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
All right. And you see Jessica like takes a deep breath. Oh, I hope we don't run into any of the others. Any of those other assholes. And
we
she
go.
pushes the door open.
Right. You open up the door, and that's where we're going to transition. We see werewolf Darla Stapler
Ooh,
Standing.
on the hunt.
at an intersection, sniffing the air. That's when you realize, Darla, it wasn't there a moment ago. And suddenly, you smell it. That scent that you've been searching for. But the reason it came to you so quickly is you smell the scent of Ashley Raven. But it's got the bonus of being tinged with something that fuels you at a primal level. Fear.
Okay.
She's just up ahead and just around the corner.
I imagine, as feverish as she is, she probably is, looking at it like closing in for the kill. She rushes ahead, probably blindly.
You blindly charge ahead, slam into a wall, sort of get your feet back under you and turn around. And there, at the end of the hall, coming out of the secondary door to the Jealous Mirror containment unit, strangely, is not just Ashley Raven and Dr. K. It's Oak and Rosie. So this is going to get interesting for the two of you, because both of your characters are now present in the scene.
So it's 4 people here, or it's 2 people?
No, it's 4 people.
Oh my god.
Okay. I don't think she's got enough rational sense to really care about the others. I don't even think would she know at this stage of the game who Oak and Rosie are if it's 1975?
There is no qualifiable reason why in 1975 Darla Stapler would know who
Other than being
12-year-old
privy to the no.
Well, I mean, she knows at a
Nexus
certain level, at a
project.
Nexus level, she knows the names and knows who they are. But in 1975, they wouldn't be an 11 and 14-year-old children.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so
you
she
don't.
sees-
She's never seen these children before.
Right. So she sees her target, Dr. K, who he's brilliant and all, but I don't think she considers him a threat. And 2 kids. What threat can 2 kids be? So I imagine she lunges.
I want to strike back with my bat.
Well, I think he's lunging at Ashley.
I know. Yeah. I am
Okay.
the only one in this hallway with what could be construed as a weapon.
Well, that's not entirely true. Ashley Raven
that's
with
fair.
her dark passenger.
Ashley has her bare ass hands. Okay.
Not to mention, Ashley has powers of her own.
Yes.
But
That's fair.
I will allow you to get to get in on the scene with your baseball bat as well. I want to
Right.
know what Ashley Raven is going to do, so that I can figure out
Okay.
what these roles are going to be.
So Ashley Raven has we're just in a hallway, you said?
You've just come out of the secondary door of the Jealous Mirror
Okay.
containment unit. You're at the end of a hallway that's about 50 feet long. There are no other doors in this hallway. It just
Okay.
leads to a T intersection. And that's
Um,
where Darla Stapler, the werewolf, is charging you from.
So one ability that Ashley Raven has is earth shifting. This whole facility is underground. Yeah,
Sure.
like way underground.
There is.
I want to like intentionally collapse this hallway. Like cave in. I want to frickin' like crunch this hallway or pinch it shut or something. Like I want to Yeah.
Dr. K, what are you going to try to do in this situation?
Oh dear. Well. Shit. Oak, I think. So 2 things. Oak sees werewolf, immediately doesn't put 2 and 2 together that that's Darla, thinks that that's Billy. Right? Like Oak
Oh.
would see Billy. Dr. K sees Darla. And so Dr. K goes, "Kid, not right now." And he'll kind of put himself in front of Oak, because Oak goes, Billy, it's me. And then Dr. K will kind of sidestep him, push him against the side of the wall. And I think that there's this moment where like Ashley and Rosie and himself are interposing to protect Oak. And I think that Oak, in the moment of the lunge, Oak's gonna grab onto both of Ashley and Rosie's hands. And I'm gonna use the pocket watch and stop time in mid-lunge for a minute. You and Ashley now have 1 minute to do whatever you want to do before the time will jump ahead and the lunge will continue.
Okay.
So he just grabs your hands. You got 1 minute. 1 minute
Oh.
to save our asses. Figure something out. I'm gonna protect the kid.
In this time stop, it's basically we see the beginnings of, as Ashley's straining with her mind and reaching out, we see the ceiling tiles, we see the light starting to flicker and the ceiling tiles starting to bulge, and even the wall starting to crack a little bit as the earth on the other side is starting to push its way in. We see just that full-on feral werewolf lunging very I'm picturing it very comic book style, talons like gleaming like shing as she's lunging forward, saliva dripping from the fangs as her jaws are wide open.
So if I'm stopped in time and there's saliva dripping,
Well,
does the saliva stop in
no,
time as
it's
well?
I mean it's like that's the scene because I did describe it as a comic book, so it's like a static image. You're not in.
I'm just laughing as would saliva like literally be hanging in midair?
Oh yeah,
only
absolutely,
allowing them four to move.
Absolutely. So you will eventually make a fight roll, Darla Stapler, and it is going to be versus. Well, Ashley Raven needs to roll some d6s.
Amazing. Do you want to keep track, or do you just want me to? What do you want to do?
I'm trying to figure this out because we're in a time stop too, and Oak has just told you, or Dr. K has just told you that you have a minute. Go ahead and roll your d6s.
Okay. 5. That's.
5 on
do I
1.
get a freebie as Ashley?
Ashley
Raven,
does
or no?
not conform to the same rules the
Okay.
kids do.
Okay. 3.
8 on 2.
8 on 2. 1.
9 on 3.
1.
10 on 4.
3.
13 on 5. Keep going, Ashley.
4.
17 on 6.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
6.
That explodes. That's
23.
21 on 6.
23 on 6.
Okay.
28 on 7. I just got a 5.
Okay. 7 is how many dice you have.
Okay. I got a 28 then. Total.
Okay. Now, in order for you to be sure that what you wanted to happen happens, Ashley, you have to stay here and maintain your concentration on what you're trying to do. You can choose to break it and stop the effect if you want to take advantage of this minute.
So
Because you are thinking for both Ashley and for
Rosie. So if I decide to just break with this, does the tunnel will not cave in?
What is Ashley's charm die?
D10.
Roll your charm die.
8.
Natural 1.
Hmm.
That's actually a good thing for you. The shadow symbiote, as you are considering this, you hear in your mind,
Do what you will. I will bring this hall down on that beast.
the
Thanks,
shadow is
Shadow
going to
Demon.
stay right here and going to make sure that what you started gets finished.
Okay.
So you can do what you want with it. Let me rephrase that, or not say that. You and the kids can decide what you want to do.
So I think Ashley would look down at Oak and Rosie and be like, kind of like, am I still aware of all the shit that has happened between us in the past, like the other iterations, or not really? 'Cause
This
technically hasn't
Ashley,
happened.
this Ashley does not know anything ahead of 1975.
Okay. So she just looks at these kids and is like, I don't know how either of you got here, but come with me. Come with me now. And then Ashley kind of like starts guiding them somewhere else.
So your options are to go back through the mirror containment unit, or basically squeeze past the time frozen werewolf.
want to go back through the mirror unit. We're not squeezing past this
Okay.
werewolf.
Orison will follow, like, whatever need be done.
Great.
Okay, you turn around and you walk into the room, assuming you close the door behind you.
Yes.
Excuse me. As you're walking through this room, time still stopped. Dr. K, you notice that everywhere the four of you step, micro fissures appear in the surface of the mirror. Each one beginning to spider web out with each of... So that's... with each step, that's 4 more cracks that are appearing, then 4 more, then 4 more. All across. And they're happening like in like watching a slow motion high speed camera just
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. In his head, like he's saying this out loud. He's like, this world can't take this many universes colliding together at the same time. It's starting to break apart, and I don't know how we pull it all back together. It just doesn't. He's getting very, very frustrated, knowing that everything is spiraling out of control as he's trying to contain it. He's just trying to keep everybody safe that he possibly can. So as they come across, is Persephone still in here? Is Persephone still fighting Coop?
Persephone is currently lying on the floor with a fireplace poker in her head.
Oh, God. Well,
Oh,
that's one problem solved.
okay.
You
Nice.
have enough time with your time stop to make it through the room to the other side.
Yeah, we're gonna go through.
Okay. I need to take a moment and ask a question of Jessica. Remind me, in 1985, how old is Jessica? She's the oldest of the group. Is she 16?
16. Yep.
So Jessica in 1985 is 16. So she was born in 1969. Which means in 1975,
Oh,
Jessica
she was
is 6 years old. That's what I thought. Ted, go ahead and roll your fight die if you haven't done so already. And Carrie, I'm going to have you roll for the shadow. You're going to be rolling a d20 for Braun. Meanwhile, as the 4 of you make it through the Jealous Mirror containment unit, these spider webs of cracks continue happening. And they stay contained to the floor reflection of the Jealous Mirror room. But one set of cracks we sort of follow. Just imagine like a macro lens moving at floor level going. And as it gets to where Persephone lies dead, unconscious, whatever, on the floor, it hits where her body is and it diverts. And the new path takes it careening towards the wall that is reflecting a new image. We don't see that image yet. As that crack goes, hits the wall, and a single crack goes up that one wall and stops right in the middle. We're zoomed so far in that all we can see is almost as if it were pixels. Out in the hallway, the shadow channels all of Ashley's energy, which is also its energy, and brings the ceiling and the walls down on top of Darla Stapler.
Yes!
Shadow rolled a 14. Darla the werewolf rolled a 2. collapsing in on top.
Amazing.
The camera lingers for a moment as we see the shadow begin to dissipate and move into one of the ventilation shafts. And we see that pile of rubble. We see the sparking of the now broken electrical conduits from the overhead lighting and stuff. And we see one taloned hand under all of the rubble. And then we see it begin to twitch.
Yep.
And begin to push away. Darla Stapler, you are down but not out.
Awesome.
But we're going to move back into that room for a moment. As the camera slowly moves away, backtracking through. And we see sort of out of focus as the camera's looking at Persephone lying on the floor. The entire wall behind Persephone is reflecting a single scene. It is out of focus for the moment, but we can just make out that single crack that went up. And the focus shifts, and we see little Jessica Smith sitting at the top of the stairs. And that crack splits Jessica in half vertically. There's a sudden sound of rustling cloth. The camera whips around and we see the actual ornate jealous mirror contained within its frame. And stepping into view, placing a hand on the glass, we see Anne. Hi, sweetie.
Ooh.
And I think that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Bravo.
God. Oh,
I really wanted to keep going for a little bit, but I'm losing. I don't know that I can keep the scenes moving accurately.
We need a minute to reconfigure.
So
Oh,
we
she's
witnessed
back.
tonight the birth of Ashley Raven and her symbiote. For all intents and purposes, Ashley Raven is basically carrying venom without it actually being
love
venom.
Yep, love it. Legally distinct venom. Got it.
But also, we saw Persephone in a paradoxical shift actually be in the moment in which she threatened Coop and possibly died. And we witnessed the birth of Anne.
Dude, I was thinking about Hexus this whole fucking time too. It's need a little Tim Curry in this universe.
I needed to verify that my timeline was right, because I had checked it like weeks ago, and then I was suddenly doubting myself, and I was like, no, this makes sense. So I feel confident in saying that next week will be our last session in the Nexus arc.
As the adults. Oh, man.
And to give you guys time to plan plots and whatever else, we will be starting with Jessica and Laz as Miss Adams and Devin.
It's going to be real awkward if you find, like, the rest of us and be like, oh, hey.
And hopefully Tomiko is able to join us next week. Yeah, there's some of the things that happened tonight are the realization of multiple weeks of Bigby Boys coffee chats between me and Craig.
You don't say. This all had such a distinctly normal tone. Just kidding.
Yeah.
It was very Craig coded.
No, I wanted to take advantage of the quantum destabilization events that were happening and disrupt any thoughts you had in the aftermath of last week's session that, something shifted. And there's still effects of that. But I also hoped, but didn't know that you were going to go, for sure, that you were going to go into the Jealous Mirror room.
I really felt like there was a plot hook somewhere in there, so I did it. Nobody tell Tamiko that I spent 4 pops. I'll just never ever spend it again.
Listen, you have 30. You have 30. Wow, that broke me. I was trying to do 35
40.
plus 5, but still say it was a 30 number.
Yeah, math sucks.
You have 40.
30-10.
Yeah.
30-10.
You have 40 domain pops. It's okay that the number goes down. These are bought and paid for.
I know.
I feel like you guys are waiting until we get near the finale, and you're just going to start burning them as much as you can.
That's exactly.
We're going to finish the game with 99 health potions.
Yes.
Yep.
Explore all the places on the map, get all the collectibles, and then also have all of our health remaining. Perfect game. Perfect game.
There was a time in your life when you loaded Skyrim for the last time, and you didn't even know it then.
And
how sad is that?
all I'm going to say, no, I'm not even going to say this out loud. Ted, I'm going to send you a message.
Oh, secret message.
Yep.
Secret message.
All right. So, my head is spinning from trying to weaving all of these plot lines together. With no notes, mind you, just headcanon stuff.
Done, by the way.
I literally only wrote.
Done, yes.
I literally only wrote your characters' names down on a piece of paper, and then was like, "Well, I don't know what's going to happen." So,
within the first 5 minutes, everything that I had planned, you threw out the window already. So
that's usually my goal, Chad, is to take anything that you were planning and make it as irrelevant as possible. So you have to think of new plans.
Think on your feet. Think on your feet. Improv. Okay.
And I was laughing because we've all seen the movies multiple times of actors trying to pretend that they're a different actor. So trying to see Miss Adams and Devin Sharp acting as Laz and Jessica is just humorous.
Such Death Becomes Her vibes. I was so happy. I was so happy.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so just as much thanks and credit goes to all of you for taking these plot hooks and these threads and just playing your characters, even when you're playing characters that you intrinsically hate, you're still playing them true to how they've been depicted, and it's not a story without you guys. So thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. I want to say a special shout out to Monty DL, because I'm just seeing a note in the side here that Monty DL has just hit a 20 stream streak.
Wow.
Has watched 20 streams in a row. So that's awesome, Monty DL. We appreciate you so much. Monty's a longtime subscriber as well. So thank you so much for that. Just again, I love seeing everybody in the chat and the conversations and all that stuff going on. And if you're somebody who likes to lurk, or you're watching later with us, or watching later on the VOD, know that we appreciate you and hope you are enjoying the show as much as we are enjoying playing and crafting these stories. And a final, very heartfelt thank you to these amazing friends and players. It's kind of like I said, hey, you guys want to ride a really fun roller coaster, but you're also in charge of the roller coaster, and we're also laying the track as we go, and we don't really know where we're going, but this is going to be a blast. Thank you, as always, to the incredible Chad, Gary, Ted, Jeremy, M, and though she was not with us tonight, she was with us in spirit, Tamiko, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Until